Greetings! My name is Jess, and I will be doing video journaling. This will be super awkward because I am probably the most awkward person you will meet or see in a video if I actually decide to post these. I decided to do video journaling because I feel like it would help me be able to speak better. I have a really hard time socially, and I really want to improve my speaking abilities and kind of get my brain speeding up a little bit more with thought processing and whatnot. I'll explain a little bit more about that eventually, but I just moved into an apartment by myself, and I specifically wanted to live alone so I could learn about who I am and what I want, which it's a worldwide struggle for a lot of people, but I know I'm not alone. Everybody keeps telling me, you're not alone, it's not just you. I understand. There are other people like me, but they do not have my body, you see? They were not born in this body, so I have to deal with it. Anyway, I just have a really hard time making friends. And it's not that I don't talk to people. I like talking to people and I talk to people a lot, but I just can't connect with them. And when I do, it's really awesome, but then they don't stay. Or the connection gets lost, and the connection is no longer there. That's my dog barking. Just took her outside. So, I don't know. I've been living in this town my entire life, and I still have problems making friends. And when I do make a best friend, it's like I don't even know how to be a best friend, and I don't know what the rules are, and I feel sort of heartless. I don't know. I came from a really weird family, and I'm still trying to understand it. It's gotten to a point where I don't want to understand any more of it because I'm trying to move past all of it, and I don't know if other people in my family see it or not, or if they do and they just don't talk about it. I don't know. But my parents, they didn't know very much when they had me and my two brothers. My older brother is JJ, and then there's me, and then my little brother Justin. We're all 4 years apart. And so I don't know what the truth is. I mean, I've heard stories, but is it actually the real story? Because my mom can be a little crazy and she can see things in the wrong way, and I don't know if it's accurate, but the story that I was told and believed for my entire lifetime is that my mom got pregnant in a one-night stand and had my brother. And then my grandparents are very religious people, so as soon as she got pregnant, she was forced into marriage. So they barely knew each other, supposedly, and they got into this marriage where neither of them knew anything. And my dad, all he did was party and not care about his kids. And my mom just worked a bunch of hours to try and... My dog, listen. I'll be right back. Well, Daisy's back in. Fluffy, wanna say hi? That's my dog. She's beautiful. I know. me and her connect on a very, very strong level. A level that I wish I could connect with other people. Which I have before, but then they always seem to leave. I don't get it. So, anyway, my dad liked to party a lot, and my mom just worked all the time, and they never got along. They had a lot of fights, they fought all the time. My dad was abusive, physically and emotionally. My mom was an emotional wreck, she would cry a lot. And so that was really difficult on all of us. And then when I was 7, my dad's dad molested me. And it went on for about a year, so I was like 7 to 8 years old. And then my family ended up finding out because I wrote a letter to him telling him to stop. And then my grandma found it. So therefore we pressed charges, and my grandpa was put in prison for 8 years. I honestly don't remember. He got out of jail when I was 15. Oh, I'm 23, by the way. And it was just really awkward. I know that molestation happens in a lot of foreign countries and it's really normal, but here the social predisposition of it being wrong made my psyche believe that it was, which is probably confusing. But anyway, the fact that my entire family just ignored what happened and didn't try and make any resolution emotionally really put a damper on everything. Like, I don't really know how to talk with my family. And when I do, it's just pretty basic. I mean, we're not close. And I'm sure it's like that for a lot of families. But we used to be a lot closer before all of that. And anyway, fast forward. I had a lot of issues physically. Like, I was never very attractive when I was younger, so I was made fun of quite a bit, so I didn't fit in school either. So home life, I was completely ignored because mom was working all the time trying to support her family, and dad didn't care about any of us. And then I would go to school, and everybody hated me there too. So I honestly thought that I didn't matter whatsoever. So as a kid, you take it pretty hard. You're 12 years old, and you cry out. The first few times that a counselor talked to me was when I would write really depressing things in my journal. I say a lot. But we would have journals in language arts, and we would write, and I would write about how much I hated myself and how ugly I was, and basically everything that everybody has told me and everything that society has put on me, that I didn't matter and stuff. So, and how I was abused and everything. And so, of course, parents were called, and they did not take that well at all. The situation is that they feel that it just needs to be swept under the rug and forgotten so that it doesn't depress me anymore. Clearly, they're not very smart. Which is not their fault. Everybody talks about other people with what they do wrong behind their back, and it's almost too detrimental to say it to their face because you don't want to hurt their feelings. And my mom is really sensitive, and she knows that she could have done things differently, but it's too late now. She didn't know at the time, so I don't resent her as much as it seems. I am upset that it happened in general. So I just wanted to make that clear. And every time I would bring it up, it was not good. I would get yelled at, and people at school didn't care, and then it was just forgotten again. So I was just like, okay, apparently it's not a problem, so I'm gonna forget about it too. And then I approach high school, and when you're in high school, you try to look nice and make friends and be the popular kids, and I tried so hard to fit in, but I just didn't fit in anywhere. It was really hard for me, and the geeks accepted me. The people who read anime and watch all of those Full Metal Alchemist TV shows or whatever. I could never really get into those as much as I tried. And I started working really early too. Because they never had any money for me. I got a job, a real job when I was 16, but I was working under the table when I was about 13, 14. Just delivering newspapers, nothing too severe. I'm not a stripper or a prostitute or anything, because I feel like people like to assume that. Anyway, I just got a regular job at a fast food place, a pizza place, and I was there for a while. And I am skipping around a lot in my life, and I don't know where to go from here now in this conversation. There's just so many ways I could go about my life, and it's really interesting to sit here and talk to myself like this. Because usually I'm talking to another person, and looking in the mirror like this, it's kind of defeating, because I'm not seeing myself as I thought I was. But it's good at the same time, because I can change. And I mean, who's gonna really look at all of these fucking videos? Probably people I know, or stalkers, or whatnot. So I mean, I had friends in high school, but we didn't really click. We didn't really connect. And I don't know why. And then when I started college, because, okay, let me go through this first. It got to a point in high school where I didn't care about anything. I would party with a bunch of people who didn't give a shit about me, and I would get drunk every single night, and I would sleep through school every day. I have no idea how I graduated, but I did. Anyway, so I didn't go back to college until about 2.5 years of graduation, and even then I was going part-time. So I went part-time at Delta for a couple of years, and then I had an experience with a certain manager. That's right, I forgot to tell you another factor, is that I went to school for cosmetology because I supposedly wanted to be a hairdresser, which actually means I wanted to be somebody that I wasn't. I wanted to be liked, I wanted to be cared about, I wanted people to accept me for who I am, which I didn't even know who I was, so that made it even more difficult. And so I got my cosmetology license, and I worked for several years at like a Master Cuts or something simple like that. And I had a really hard time getting along with my coworkers because I didn't know how to connect with them. But it was kind of a low-grade salon, so it wasn't too important for me to be super awesome at hair. But I learned a lot from trial and error, if you will. And some of them helped me out with some techniques, but I wasn't that great. And then I applied at a very fancy spot at Ulta Beauty. They have a salon in the back. I worked there for about a year, and my manager, Maria, she took me under her wing, and she was probably one of the only people that I really connected with. And that was another thing. I couldn't connect with my peers, but I really connected with my managers. And in college now, most of my teachers. So she took me under her wing, and I was trying to be successful in hair. That's what I wanted. I wanted to make enough money to move out on my own and get things that I want. Because doing hair at minimum wage doesn't give you much support, especially on 20 hours a week, which is what they start you with, so you can build your business. So she was trying to help me build that business, and it wasn't working. I wasn't building anything. I wasn't succeeding. I was a little bit, but the numbers weren't big enough. And Maria, I don't know why she kept me around as much as she did, because the kind of personality I have, I'm just really dry and depressing, is what I've noticed. Like, I will fake it too, and everyone can tell that I'm faking it, because it's just impacted on me so much, and it has affected how I function in society. So I can't read people. I can't have that personality that puts you in that certain career that every human being needs to be in. And I learned a lot of this in college, and I think that's why I want to be a college professor, is because I can do a lot of research and just keep studying people and teach people the way I want and what I want to teach. I really enjoy learning, and I really enjoy how humanity works. And okay, I just got really sidetracked. Let's see. Maria really liked me for some reason. I don't know why. She was always really upset with me, and she would try and help me change. She would give me all of this advice, and she would tell me this, this, and this, and I just never understood it, or I didn't have enough ambition to do it. Like, I realized she taught me that my existence at home reflected onto my work, which is obvious. But of course, at that time, I was oblivious to everything because nobody taught me anything. And I wasn't very smart. And it didn't take me learning all of this until after I quit the job. And what really changed me was breaking up with my controlling boyfriend. We were together for 4 years, and it was just all mostly bullshit. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice guy or whatever, but I was only with him so he could control me. It's natural if you think about the psychology of it. I am attracted to what my family is because it's all that I know, unconsciously. So that's why I was drawn to it. I started dating him when I was 17. I think I broke up with him at 22 or 21. I can't really remember. Probably 22. Yeah, I was 22. Daisy is licking my leg, I think. She's feeling neglected. She likes a lot of attention. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. I'm just a girl going through a lot of shit, and a lot of people don't understand. And I don't need them to understand. I just want things to work. I don't know where this is going to take me and who I'm going to be, but it's going to be interesting to have these kind of talks on camera. And I will definitely write out a list next time so I know what to talk about in the correct order. So there's actually there's a word for it, but a proper functioning speech going through what needs to be said, what's been on my mind. I swear I can never sit here and write or talk about what I was thinking about earlier at work. At work, doing the prepared food, and my mind is wandering about these brilliant thoughts that I think would be wonderful to talk about on the webcam. I don't even know what to call this. It's a web journal? A vlog? So I think about all of that stuff, and then I get here and I sit down and I'm like, okay, what was I thinking about? You forget. You forget, and then it really sucks. Sometimes I am able to stop and write things down so I can talk about it later, but even then, I'll look back on it and I'm like, the fuck was I talking about? So there's that problem, and I think getting comfortable in front of the camera is going to take some time. This is the first video that I'm doing, and I think it's going okay so far. I think the one thing I need to work on is that I can't overthink things. I think that's how my brain works. It's not that it's slow, it's that it's thinking in several different directions, that it doesn't know which way to go. So maybe I think too much and think, yeah, I'm thinking, I'm not overthinking, but maybe I am overthinking and it just goes around in circles. But the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to function in society. I want to be a character. I don't want to constantly do what everybody else wants. I'm always doing what everybody else wants because I never know what I want. And I don't know how I'm supposed to know, but I think I'm starting to figure it out. It's taken a lot of time, and a few people I've come across, they're experiencing the same problem, but they're a lot younger than me, so they're going through things that I've gone through a while ago, and they feel the need to have me help them, which I wish I could, but I just don't have that. I don't have enough of that to do it. Or do I have the answers? They really have to just find it in themselves. So I just need to start loving who I am. And a lot of people constantly tell me that I'm a great person and how beautiful and smart I am, which, sure, yeah, I'll believe that. But the problem is, it doesn't show in how I act. Body language, extremely important. Slouching, slurring words, I don't know, hiding. I can't even describe all of the insecure body languages that there are, but there's tons of them. And I display a lot of them, and that's why I could not succeed in my business. And it's taken me a while to realize that. So hopefully, this will be very good for people growing up in bad homes and having a hard time growing up. And a lot of people I meet don't have that problem. A lot of people I meet in bad homes are actually really popular and have a really great personality. So I'm like, what is wrong with me? I actually think I have some form of Asperger's. I haven't been tested, but all the signs are basically there. I'm awkward socially. I'm interested in very scientific and weird things. I don't know why that's a factor. I don't know. I don't really believe in those kinds of disorders, if you will. I don't see it as a disorder. Like, My professor called it, it's not a disability, it's an ability. I can't remember how she worded it, but basically people with disabilities are actually geniuses. Which I'm not trying to gloat and say that I'm just the biggest genius ever. There's a lot of people out there who are smart, and we're all just floating around in this world. I'm wiping the sweat off my legs. uh, Daisy's feeling very neglected. Say hi, Daisy. Don't look at me like that. What? See, she is the love of my life. I wouldn't trade her for the world. Sometimes it's hard to have her because she limits me on a lot of things, like going out and making friends, but we have a really strong connection. She is way too much like me, and we clash quite a bit, so that can be difficult sometimes, but we can basically read each other's minds, and that's really rare. I love her so much. I know that when dogs pass, it's really, really hard. And I think about that every day when I see her, when she's going to leave, and how I'm going to take it. And it's going to be hard, but animals die. People die. We have to accept it. So many people are afraid of it. And that's another thing is my parents were always trying to avoid everything that was bad, and they were always afraid of everything. They were afraid that something was going to happen, and they would think of all of the worst possible scenarios that would occur, and they would call me and say, watch out for this, watch out for that, this could happen, that could happen, and it just made me so paranoid, and it still kind of affects me today, but I try not to make it affect me as much, but I think that has made me not care about anything, because they cared about so much that it's just, it's not how society works. It's not how the world works. It's really unrealistic. You have to be strong. And they're very weak. And I really feel bad if they ever see this video because I'm being very straightforward and blunt, and I could never be this straightforward to their face. It makes me think, do I post this on Facebook? Do I not post this on Facebook? Do I just randomly post this on YouTube and random people can watch it? I don't know. Again, decisions. Can't really make them. There's a lot that goes into my psyche when it comes to being able to function in society. Another thing that was really weird was that I was in the mental hospital last year, and it wasn't for any suicide attempt. I have made a couple suicide attempts, but hold on, Daisy. She just rang her bell. That means she wants to go outside. And anyway, I went to the mental hospital, and it wasn't for anything that is death related. What happened is that when I was taking those college courses and recognizing why I can't function in society effectively and why I'm just a constant failure is because of how I was raised. Like, I know that's really vague, but every little thing, every little event that had occurred had led me up to that very point, that very person that I had become. I didn't know anything. I was extremely naive. I didn't trust anybody. I didn't know who to listen to. I was completely lost, and I didn't even know it. So, I'm in psychology class, and we're going through the PowerPoint, and I'm taking notes. So, we're talking about parenting styles, and there was so much more to that, but there was so much that was just the icing on the cake that really made me recognize it. And it said, parents who are like this will make a child like this. And it was make the child disoriented, emotionally unstable, and parenting styles who would do this had kids who were better and successful, and all of these different things. So that really hit me. I didn't think it would hit me as hard as it did. I think that it was really out of my control. My mind just went blank for several days. I got so depressed, I couldn't even move. And I went back on antidepressants because it was so bad. So I started on Paxil, I think, because that's what I used to take a few years ago when I was having trouble. And days went by, and I didn't even know they were going by. I had no idea what was going on. I started to reach a psychosis level, and then it got so bad that a voice woke me up in the middle of the night. And I was hallucinating so bad. And I could feel pressure in my frontal lobe as it was happening. It was just like a line and a really weird pressure in my brain that I could feel moving around. And it was an alternate version of myself. It was a very hostile version. It was screaming at me, and it told me that I needed to kill my dad. I needed to kill my dad or she would kill me. Those were her words. She had my voice. It sounded like me. And my thoughts weren't alone. So I'm laying in bed, and she's just ranting at me, telling me that I need to do it because he fucked up and all of this. And I'm thinking, oh my god, who am I going to talk to about this? Who should I tell? I gotta tell somebody. And she's screaming at me, no, like it was a devil scream. I could try and imitate it, but I think I would scare my neighbors because these walls aren't very solid. And I was shaking under my blanket. I didn't know what was going on or what to do. And even what I would think about what to do, she would yell at me and tell me not to and tell me that she would kill me if I did that. So obviously it's not real. It's a hallucination. But it still freaked me out. And even though she threatened me not to tell anybody about her, I still told people. I'm telling you now. As soon as I got out of bed, I went and told my brother. I was scared as shit, but she was yelling at me for 5 hours. I just didn't know what to do. I laid in bed and I argued with her. I have never experienced anything like that in my life. It was fucking crazy. I haven't heard any voices ever since, but I'll never forget that. So, I went to a psychiatrist about that. And I really shouldn't have. That was really stupid on my part. So they sent me to the mental hospital for that. Because, yeah, that is really serious. But I wasn't going to do it. But they didn't believe me. I wasn't going to kill him. I kept telling the voice in my head, it wasn't his fault. People make mistakes. I kept trying to justify everything. I was pretty rational when it was happening. But it was just happening. It was so strange. So I got admitted into White Pine. And that was a really weird experience. It was a good experience and a bad experience, which is how I look at basically everything. I can never take one side of it being good or bad. I can never like something or hate something. They change a lot. And I think that's why I really struggle with any sort of relationships, because when I find somebody that I really connect with, their likes and dislikes fluctuate so much that they don't know if they like me anymore, which is exactly how I get too. I meet somebody and then I'm like, oh, they're not so interesting anymore. And then I never want to see them again. So that's what people do to me. And it's just an endless cycle of not wanting yeah, when is it really going to be reciprocal? You see people all the time married and dating and they're really happy and you have no idea why. You're not them. I don't know. That's another topic for another time. I feel like I'm going to go through all of these topics again in different ways, just because that's how my mind works. Very unorganized. I'm probably going to have to write out some ideas before I do these videos, even though I try to avoid writing in the first place. I don't even know what to say. That's a really big problem of mine too, is that I never know what to do with myself. People with character, they know what to do. They go here, they go there, they talk about this, they like doing that. I don't know what I like to do. I don't like to do anything. I like to sit on the couch and pretend that I don't exist. So yeah, I'd say that's depressed. And I get it from my family. And that's how they are, but they don't see it. I think they see it, but they don't want to see it. I don't think their minds could handle it. I know that's a really bad assumption. I don't know if I want to risk it though. I don't know. I think change is too hard for them right now. They've worked so hard their entire life trying to take care of things and satisfy themselves along the way that it just became too much. So here I am. This is the purpose of this journal, is to reinvent myself. I want to speak effectively. I want to make good friends. I want to make a life for myself here. This isn't some video where I want a bunch of sympathy from a bunch of people. Sympathy gets me nowhere. It just sits there and I don't even know what it does. It doesn't do anything. So I don't know where to start. I got internet in my apartment today. I don't know what to do in my free time. I read. Reading is cool. I get tired of reading. Then I don't know what to do. I should start exercising. I'm trying to eat better. I really like sugar. It's really hard to break that habit. I need to start playing guitar more. Motivation just isn't easy for me. I work at Subway. They work me a lot because nobody else likes to work. So I get a lot of hours, which is good. I'm going back to school in a few weeks here. I've been at Saginaw Valley for 2 years now. I have 2 more years, maybe a little bit longer because I don't take very many credits. But 2 more years and then I'll get my bachelor's in English. No idea what I'm going to do with it. I'll probably have to go back and keep going so I can become that professor. But on the way there, I don't know how I'm going to swing it. I mean, I don't want to work at Subway that entire time. Subway sucks. I hate working at Subway. But I love it at the same time. See, that's what I mean. I just have a love-hate relationship with all of the elements of life. Here's my guitar. I'm going to start learning how to play it. Well, I've gotten a few lessons several years ago. I used to play the piano, but my piano got moved because Dad wanted a kitchen table and I was too scared to tell him that I wanted the piano to stay there, and I was too naive to continue playing piano because I didn't even know that I liked it. So, I need some work. I'll practice and next time I might play something for you.